Hi Cancer, here is a general look at your solar chart for February 2016 and bouncing ideas between you and another. That's probably going to be useful for you, and definitely weighing things up, feeling your way forward, taking advice, but then just listening to that intuition of yours and avoiding knee-jerk reactions to get to the basics, to get to the bottom line, to get to, where you're coming from, where they're coming from, what's really needed here. So it's kind of sort of cutting away the chatter for some of the time this month. And it's a gear shifting phase. The sun is in the area of transition until the 19th, and that means that you will have to be more sensitive or more sort of confidentially aware of where somebody's coming from, or you got your issue or agenda, but you have to be strategic in how you go forwards, or you're researching things, you're making a plan, and that's probably going to be over the whole month, because as the sun moves out of there on the 19th, Mercury and Venus are coming in on the 14th and the 17th respectively. So Mercury comes into there from your opposite sign on the 14th. In your opposite sign, this thing where some of you might be getting good information from an agent or a go-between, or others seeing you as the one with the information that's going to help them. This is a good time to be a go-between type figure or to consult with someone. But because Venus is there up until the 17th, then it's going to generally ease the flow and make relationships tend to be have more value to you. Now that can be more value in an emotional sort of way, or it can be more valuable in a materialistic kind of way, your sort of choice. And it's good where affairs of the heart are concerned. Venus in her own part of the houses, the seventh house, means that she is working strongly out of that house up until the 17th, and you and somebody could feel a closer rapport. You and somebody could really be kind of, it could be kind of a sizzly sort of connection that you have there, or it can work in other sorts of ways as well, just enjoying somebody else's company, having a shared passion for something, a shared enthusiasm for something, or maybe it's about shared sort of material things like property, money, and in this area here, in general, it's all right for you Cancerians, because this area here is in a good angle to your sun. Now, we then have, as I said, Mercury and Venus moving out of there and going into the same area as the sun that I spoke about at the beginning, in this kind of area, sort of reading between the lines and doing the research, to making the plan, being strategic. So they both move in there on the 14th and the 17th respectively, and then the sun moves out of there into the next area, so leaving a huge emphasis in that area all month. But the sun then moves out and goes into a far more expansive area to do with new potentials in the wind, new enterprises, new projects, just getting that kind of feeling of enthusiasm for what's coming, that positive feeling, even though you still do have this emphasis on this rather introspective, just feeling your way. You still do get this kind of juicy sort of hint of better things coming. Some of you may get itchy feet. Good time actually to take a trip, or to just simply get out of your normal little box, really, that we all get into, the routine. So breaking the routine would be good. Also signing up for something, learning something new would be good, and just get out and about more, really. And now Mars is doing something unusual at the moment, and is staying in just 2 signs of the zodiac between now and September. And for you at the moment, the sign that Mars is in, which is Scorpio, is really beneficial. So Mars is in a very spontaneous and for some romantic area. Now, I say that, but it's also a creative, innovative area. So if you've got plans for a project or an enterprise, then this Mars position is really going to underpin that for you and help you to be successful. Creative juices, competitive juices could be flowing. You could get more access to enjoyable leisure type activities, or indeed this is the house, as I call it, the house of fun. It's also the house of romance. So some of you, you know, could feel admiring glances coming your way. That sort of feel good factor, that reassurance should be there for you, and just make sure, of course, that you're not being noticed for the wrong reasons, because the energy of being noticed or having somebody sort of slightly admiring attention on you, whether that's coming from a pet dog, a cat, a child, or a drop down gorgeous lover, or a horse. Yeah, I think I'd choose the horse. So whatever is going on, maybe a dog and a horse actually together. Yes, I would go for that, or maybe more than one. Children are okay, but now I get to be the granny, so I can give her back. Anyway, so overall, this is the time for you to get active with these hobbies, these pursuits that you really want to do, or maybe it's work, but it kind of has this enterprising kind of edge to it. Maybe it's to do with children, maybe it's to do with your inner child coming, or whatever it is. Mars is going to be there a long time this year, so it goes out of there in early March, comes back in late May, it stays for a while, and then goes out more in the August time. Yeah, it's great for the creatives, great for the entrepreneurs among you. Now, Saturn is now back in the area of job, employment, health matters, your own, somebody else's, all manner of sort of material, practical tasks and being of service, just taking it one step at a time in something that you are building, creating in a kind of material sort of physical sense, and keeping ahead of the game, just getting out ahead of things in a maintenance orientated, repair orientated way would be a good piece of advice, I think. Also anything health or fitness related, ditto, getting out ahead, nipping things in the bud with diet. And generally it just means harder work and more assistance to others on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be 24/7. It depends on the degrees of Saturn and where your degrees are of your Sun and other planets. So you Cancerians born 4th to the 8th of July, or with 13 to 17 degrees rising, will feel the energy this month the most. It's just keeping your finger on the pulse of what's going on, and plugging away at learning practical new skills, maybe for some of you, training, but also having more to do with service providers perhaps, or people who need your service, so having more to do with them. And again, that consistent, steady building kind of feel. Now Jupiterian expansiveness will tend to support a more outgoing, upbeat, positive frame of mind until next September. In fact, for you Cancerians, until September, Jupiter's in a really cool place. And that training thing I mentioned, that learning through doing thing, which is not like official training, it can be formal, but it might not be. Quite a learning curve there, maybe more paperwork flying in your direction, or things where you've really got to crack down, and use your mind and focus down onto things. But the huge positivity and potential of Jupiter means that in just general daily exchanges, you could learn amazing things in maybe ways that you weren't expecting, even, like, you stand by that great old 800-year-old oak tree and put your hand on it, and he speaks to you, or she speaks to you. So grandfather or grandmother oak, or maybe it's the river. It doesn't have to be people, it really doesn't have to be people. Of course, those dogs and horses and cats I was talking about as well. And anything else, there's information coming at you just from the air. And I don't just mean like intellectual information, although that's there, and this is a good time to source new knowledge, very much so, over these many months that Jupiter's there, but just in organically picking up. You're good at that, Cancer, absorbing by osmosis like a sponge. And new landscapes, new territories, new maps will be drawn into your mental world. You Cancerians born the 10th to the 15th of July, or with 18 to 23 degrees rising, going to feel that energy the most. And then, of course, the long-running aspects of Uranus-Pluto. If you want to find out about Uranus in the 10th house, look that up. And you can find that on maybe Cafe Astrology, because there's good websites for astrology and not so good. You Cancerians born the 7th to the 10th, 11th of July, going to feel that the most this month. And that is generally, chopping and changing or experimenting with different fishing for bees, fishing for what to be. As a little boy said to me once, who was holding a stick with a string on the end of it and a little bent safety pin on the end, and just sticking it down in the air. I said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Fishing for bees." But yeah, so you could be fishing for what to be, but in the meantime, you're doing a bit of this, you're doing a bit of that, you're feeling your way forward. You're again, that hierarchy thing could be going on there for you. So cultivating and making your way, because with Uranus there until 2018, it's not going to be all done and dusted. It's going to be that you are finding, maybe you found what you want, but you're bringing in new methods, new technologies, new techniques, maybe relocating, maybe just lots of different change blowing across that area there of your life. And then, of course, Pluto, again, look that one up. Pluto in the 7th house. You Cancerians born the 6th to the 9th of July, or with 15 to 18 degrees rising, you're going to feel that energy the most this month. And again, this is topsy-turvy, in your world, because for many years now, maybe you have felt more sensitive and emotional regarding those in close relationship. That's to say family, close friends, partners, would-be partners, past partners. That's the area where you are being given this kind of cosmic makeover on your emotional body. So just be aware of that there. And there's lots you can read about those two, Uranus, Pluto. And I just want to say about Saturn Uranus, which is a stunningly good aspect this month. And this for you is going to be affecting your work area, your career area, but also your general direction in life, which is kind of, going that way. It's a bit like you're tacking on this sailing boat, right? With Uranus there since 2012, this has been the deal. It's been pretty, I think it might have popped in there in 2011 as well, but we'll say 2012 until 2018. This is what is going on. It's like, okay, there's where I'd like to go, but then the winds come. So you're in this sailing boat, this analogy, and you're having to tack. You're having to go that way in order to get there. And then you've got to go that way in order to get there. And then that way and that way. And then as you're zigzagging across, things happen and you think, no, actually, I've realized now that over there's a much better place for what I need and want now. So it's subject to its volatile energy. It's subject to change. But as long as you keep that hot little hand of yours on that tiller and, on the rope for the sail, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. The universe holds you. Always. We just have to go through these things, and because it makes us stronger, see? And it does. It really does. And also it expands our life into fascinating new sort of areas. But anyway, and Uranus rules, of course, anything to do with the internet as well. too. So some of you might be having more to do with the internet in your general life direction or your professional. I mean, who isn't? Or technology, in fact. It rules technology. It rules ETs. It rules off-planet things. It rules, you know, galaxies. It rules astronomy and astrology. Some of you might be getting into that. Who knows? Oh, rules so many things. Groups of people. And then I wanted to tell you about Saturn Uranus. This is the time that affecting your work area, where if you keep plugging away at something which is kind of, it's new, you know, you don't know the rules of the game yet. The advice is, with such a positive aspect, to just keep, because you get the sense, but I'm pretty sure that once I get on top of this, it's going to be good. It probably will be. So this is the time that you could be working steadily on what you see as an improvement or an aspiration or something you've waited to do for a long time and you've been held back by circumstances. This is the time to just keep at it, because this is when that can really pay off. This is the aspect of dreams coming true. And then I just want to say, early month Mercury and Venus go over Pluto, so somebody might have to put their cards on the table, or maybe you sense that somebody isn't putting their cards on the table, or maybe there's kind of a need to be more sensitive about somebody's feelings, or indeed you feel more sensitive, and others have got to be more kind of careful around you. It might be like that. It's a time for research. It's a time for getting to the bottom of things. It's a time for kind of blowing the whistle on somebody's maybe coercive type behavior or whatever it is. You can look that one up too. Mercury and Venus transiting Pluto. Yeah, well, you can find out if you want to, but that gives you sort of an idea. I mean, we want to leave some things to chance, because then, you know, we get more brownie points for that, don't we? Somewhere or other. And that is it for February. If you know your rising sign and moon sign, listen to those. There's 2 videos I put out. One is overview for 2016 and astrological overview for 2016. And one is more input from the guides. Some of you might be interested in that. That's the overview one. And I think that's it. I'll see you the next time.